everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast with your host, Mackenzie Rencher. Well, guys, the time has come. This is the last episode of the year. I know that it feels early, but the reason why this is the last episode of the year is because, well, typically, at least the podcast episodes I listen to do things in not chapters, but I guess like seasons. And one of the ones I listened to, their last episode is after Thanksgiving. So they have their Thanksgiving episode that week, and then that's the end. And I was like, you know what? I really think that might be good for me just to take a break. I feel like I talked to you guys about this the last 2 weeks, just while I thought about it. And I think I'm going to come back more renewed. And the reason why it does feel a little bit early is because, one, I want enough time to actually feel like I had a break from it and not just like 1 month or a few weeks. So I feel like giving myself that time is good. And then also next week is Thanksgiving, which literally how is next week Thanksgiving? Well, I guess when you listen to this, next week will be Thanksgiving. Right now we have 2 weeks, but next week we leave for Disney. So I'll be gone all week next week for Disney. Then the following week we leave for St. Louis for Thanksgiving. So we're just going to be gone, and we have a lot of fun adventures the last of the year. And yeah, I feel very thankful for this last year of podcasting, and I really have not taken a break. I've taken maybe 2 episodes or 3 episodes of a break over the last year. But other than that, I've recorded every single week for a year. And I feel like you guys have watched me evolve and become a better version of myself, which to me is hopefully becoming more like Jesus and just the best version of myself, where I don't even know if there's an exact thing I can pinpoint. I think I'm just like more joyful. And you guys have watched this podcast evolve, where at first I kind of was feeling out what I wanted to talk about. And if you look back on my first few episodes, they're very different than what I do now. But I think I'm definitely going to be taking this time and reflecting on what I want to talk about, different segments I want to do, and just kind of a big ol' refresh. But I just appreciate everybody that listens every single week, or even if you don't listen every week and you kind of just like pop in and out. If you hear my kids upstairs, they're having the time of their life. Actually, one of them might be crying. I'm not sure. Hopefully they're up there having fun. And Kason just gets really sad when I'm not around, which is very sweet, but also like he just loves his mom and dad a lot. Anyway, but yeah, I just feel like this year I really have become a better version of myself, a better mom, a better wife. I've learned more about God and like who he really is, which I want to talk about in this episode. But I was thinking about doing like a little recap of the year, and I was like, you know what, that might be better for whenever we come back, because we will be back the first week of January. So you guys can go ahead and put that on your calendar. We have a comeback date. It'll be the first week of January, and I'll definitely be doing a beginning of the year and also like a recap of the last year. And I feel like we should have Darian on. I think that would be fun. But I honestly have not thought that far. I'm thinking as I talk, but it just feels very surreal that this is the last episode of the year, and 2025 has flown by. I really don't know where the time has gone. I actually was thinking about this morning because there's a cold front in South Carolina right now. If y'all don't know, I live in Greenville, South Carolina. And last week it was like hot in the middle of the day. Like we were sweating. This week it's a high of 40. I'm like, what's going on? It said that the coldest it's going to feel today is 17 degrees. What do you mean? What do you mean 17 degrees? Also, yesterday was my friend Olivia lives in Myrtle Beach. It was snowing in Myrtle Beach. Snowing in November. That's like very, very rare in the South if you are not from the South. Very strange. Don't really know. I'm sure next week it'll be back to 70s because that's just how it works. Like you think that, oh, winter has arrived, and then you turn around and somehow it's hot again. I don't really know, but I am hoping that we get a little bit of warmth next week when we go to Disney. I'm so excited. We're going to bring Beckham to Disney for her first birthday in January. And then we got an opportunity to go with a resort to Disney. And so I will be sharing about that all next week. It's kind of like a brand trip, but it's really just our family. So I don't really know if it's a brand trip. It's more just so like we got an opportunity to go. So we're going. I feel very, very grateful because this is kind of like Beckham's third birthday present, except for we're definitely going to get her more presents on her actual third birthday. But we'll just like, this is just like a pre-birthday present. I don't think she even understands. She keeps saying like, let's go to Disney World, but she obviously has no idea what that means. She knows what Disney is. So I think whenever she realizes we're going to Magic Kingdom, because that's just what I've been told is like the most toddler friendly. So I think when we get there and she starts realizing that this is like her little toddler dream, she's gonna freak. So I'm really excited about that. And hopefully it's like warm. And now that I'm talking out loud, I also need to get them little matching Disney outfits because I picked some out and I never ordered them. And now I'm gonna have to pay for express shipping. Anyway, like I said, we're going to St. Louis for Thanksgiving next week, which is where Darian's family lives, which let me just say, I have no idea what's in St. Louis. I really don't. We've already been once and we never really left the house because we were just kind of at the house with his family. I think this time I might have to go venture out to like some coffee shops or I don't know. We did go to like a little game area, but if y'all live in St. Louis, y'all know anything to do in St. Louis, especially for toddlers, you guys let me know because we're going to be there for 4 days and I'm like, I have to do something because last time we just kind of like sat in the house and spent time with his family, which is definitely fun. But I am feeling a little bit nervous about all of the traveling issues that we're having because the government is shut down, which like how much longer is it going to be shut down for? It's actually been, it's open. Guys, breaking news. The government is open. Is that real? Since when? 2 days ago, the government opened. Okay, so it's not fully open yet. Okay, sorry. I'm talking to my producer because he's, I guess, more in the know than me, but maybe that's why I haven't heard it because it's more so like they decided to open it, but it's not fully open yet. I think it has to be open by today or it's going to get really bad as far as airline goes. But now that you just said that it's opening, we shall see. My sister-in-law is a flight attendant and she's been calling me all nervous about just flights and she's supposed to be coming to St. Louis with us. And so she's been feeling a little nervous about that too, because as a flight attendant, you're kind of being told like, don't take any flights that you don't absolutely have to take. So that's just a lot. Not that I look away from the world crumbling. Whenever I feel like the world is crumbling, I do have to take time off my phone a lot more because I just get very all consumed. It kind of feels like the world is just awful. So I have to like very much be reminded that there's a lot of beauty in the world too. And also trying to educate myself on like what's going on in the world because I don't want to be ignorant to that either. So it's like a mix of things. But for my mental, I cannot like be on the news sites and whatever. Last week when I had a friend visiting me, we were watching something and at the end, I think it was like a football game, but then the news came on afterwards. And I was like, I'm so sorry. We have to turn this off because it's giving me such bad anxiety just hearing them like thing after thing after thing. Like I do think there's such thing as being like too informed on what's going on to where you feel like it's making you dizzy. But then you also have to be informed enough to where you don't feel ignorant to what's going on in the world too. So it's a balance as is everything. But good to hear that the government's on the up and up. What a mess. What a mess. I am very excited because today we are decorating for Christmas. It's the most wonderful time. It really is. I don't know if it's like the most wonderful time. It's like the most enchanting time of the year, most cozy time of the year. I actually just did a little TikTok about this because I was thinking about what I'm going to be doing. I had to look over at my Christmas tree. We just made eye contact and I just like love her. She's like a little white Christmas tree over here. We did 3 Christmas trees this year. One in our dining room, one in here, our sunroom, and then our big one in our living room. But anyway, I just did a TikTok about getting out of the winter funk and what I'm doing. And one of the things is like not thinking negatively about winter and just reframing my brain to not think negatively, because I think naturally you could be like, oh, winter. Like especially after Christmas passes, Christmas gets you through, you know, because you're like, it's cozy, it's fun. There's things to do. There's like, especially with kids, like you get excited about Santa and whatever else. But I do have to be careful not to be like, oh my gosh, am I going to ever leave my house because I'm so cold or whatever. And so anyway, I am so excited because today we are decorating for Christmas. I never decorate this early, but because I'm not hosting this year, which we're hosting Thanksgiving, but we're not hosting, we're hosting Friendsgiving. Did I say that? But we're not hosting Thanksgiving. So normally I just wait all together to decorate, which is always so hard because I want to decorate as soon as October is over. But now that this year we're hosting Friendsgiving, I'm like, we can go ahead and decorate. We're not doing like the full Thanksgiving moment where I feel like it has to be two separate events, especially because we host Christmas too. And I'm like, well, if we have trees up for both events, it's not really going to feel super Christmassy. But this year, I'm doing it. Still going to do a Friendsgiving vibe. We're still going to have like warm oranges and whatever, but I'm still going to have my Christmas up and I'm still going to be decorated because I need more than a month to be able to fully take it in, which Jaron doesn't agree with. He thinks that Christmas starts on December 1st. Like you can't do things until December 1st. And I'm just like, could not disagree more. I could not disagree more. I feel like 25 days is just not enough to really soak in the Christmas spirit. Now, I go way harder starting December 1st. Like there's definitely a soft launch to Christmas and Christmas music, but there's just something so magical and wonderful about celebrating Christmas. So the fact that I get to decorate finally today, get my Christmas mugs out, I'm ready to be drinking with my Christmas mugs because I think I have at least 20 Christmas mugs. It's a little much, but again, the joy that it brings me to celebrate Christmas is just unmatched. And this year, I feel like it's the first year Beckham really can. Oh, that burp really got me. Excuse me. Beckham is the first day that. Hello. That burp really got my brain in a tizzy. Christmas. Oh yeah, Beckham. It's her first time that she can really decorate with me, which I'm excited for because, I mean, is she really going to understand? No, but I am going to make us hot chocolate and that'll make her feel like she's involved. And yeah, it's going to be fun. I spent the weekend, our whole family spent the weekend, the kids and me and Darren, at a little, it was called Renewal Weekend. Normally it's called like a church retreat, but it definitely felt more like a renewal weekend where it was just restful. We just spent the weekend worshiping and really just focused on like prayer and seeking Jesus and being with him. And it was so sweet. I really can't even describe with words how well I can, and I will try, but it was just sweet in the way that I was reminded that God really is like happy. And there was a song that we were singing all weekend that one of the girls wrote there, and it says, "Beautiful Son, wonderful Spirit, happy Father." And singing it was just reminding me like of all the scripture that God really is happy. Like the first thing I think of when I think of happy Father is the prodigal son, where the son is out just like ruining his inheritance. He's out like eating food with the pigs and just like doing whatever. And then he realizes like there's no better place than being with my father. And he comes home thinking that his dad is going to be all mad at him. And he welcomes him. The father welcomes him with a robe and tells everybody to kill the fattest calf because it's a celebration because his son came home. And I'm just thinking about like how happy that dad felt with him coming home and how that's how the father sees us. And then also just like John 3:16, the most famous verse of he so loved the world. And I'm like, he so loved, like that sounds like a very happy thing. Like he loved the world that he would send his son, which is like the most precious gift, especially having a son. I'm like, the thought of sending my son for anyone can't even fathom. And yeah, I was just reminded that he like really is happy, and that was really sweet. And also just like reminding myself of how important it is to seek God for yourself, which I feel like I talk on here a lot about that. I really feel like I talk about like the same, which maybe you guys don't feel this way because you listen every week and maybe it feels different. But for me, I feel like I'm talking about like the same 5-day things, but it's really because I'm learning them constantly. And one of them is how important it is to seek God for yourself and to know him for yourself. And you have this idea of wanting to be a different person, which I still struggle with. Even this morning, I was like, why do I act this way? Or why do I have this reaction to this? Why am I not more patient? And I feel like our human nature is like, what can I do to make God happy? How can I try harder in this area? And in reality, it's like, God is described in the Bible as this all-consuming fire. And it's like, if you really let him consume you, which is just like spending time with him, getting to know him, surrendering to him, then those things just like your appetite just changes for them. Like you don't have this appetite to, this is used as an example this weekend, but like as you spend time with God, it's like your appetite for gossip or slander or sexual sin or just whatever, it just dwindles. Like you just don't even have that appetite anymore, which I relate to because I feel like the more time I spend with Jesus, like the things that I used to desire and want so badly to change about myself, when I spend time with Jesus, I just like, it's just funny. I wouldn't even think that way anymore. Or like, I just don't even have the desire to sit in the mirror and tear myself apart or like overeat after a long day where I like feel bad about myself or just things that I used to struggle with where my appetite has just changed. And I think a lot of times we are tempted as just fleshly humans, which is normal, to want to fight harder against our sin or things we don't like about ourselves, when in reality, it's like when we stand at the feet of Jesus and we actually let him be an all-consuming fire where we are listening and we are slowing down and we're going at his pace, which is never rushed. It's just funny how those things kind of start to dwindle. And I used to spend so much time looking at the things I didn't like about myself and how I could change them. And now it's like, I just look at Jesus and those things kind of just start to fade. Like that old hymn that's like, I'm going to butcher this probably, but it's like, and the things of earth slowly dim in the light of your wonderful face. It's like the more that you like start to look at Jesus, like the things of earth start to just slowly not really matter as much, aka like the things of the flesh that I don't love in myself just kind of start to slowly go away. And that's not effort. Like it's not like, I think it takes partnership with God, but it's not this effort filled thing where you can try hard enough to change yourself. I've tried. Trust. I've done everything it is to try to change the things that I don't love about myself. And I've done it in like a quote unquote godly way, or tried to do it in a godly way. The only thing that will change you is being with Jesus and asking him to make you more like him. And that's about it. And you become more like him by being with him. That's just the truth. Like think about in middle school when you're hanging out with that one friend too much and you started to look like them, you started to talk like them, you started to do the things that they did. And whether that was a good thing or bad thing, I don't know what kind of friends you hang out in middle school. But I remember in middle school when I would hang out with girls that were very gossip filled or whatever, I would start to do that too. It's just a natural thing. And I think that can happen with your relationship with God too, where it's like the more time you spend with him, the more you look like him and talk like him and are like him. And yeah, I think also something that this weekend I spent a lot of time thinking about and just dwelling on was just like the thought of wanting what God can do for you more than God himself. I don't know why my eyes right now feel like one's bigger than the other. And I think it's because I put eye drops in last night this morning, because last night I was like rubbing them or something in my sleep and I woke up and one of my eyes was red. And so I put eye drops out in both of them. But sometimes when I do that, one of my eyes end up being bigger than the other. And I feel like that's happening right now. So it's hard for me to look in this camera because I feel like, I don't know if it actually is bigger than the other, but it feels that way and it's making me distracted. Anyway, but it's very tempting to like be more focused on what God can do for you, give to you, and what if he can make your dreams come true, rather than just being with him, knowing him. And something that brought that up for me was Luke, I think it's Luke 10:12. And I had a screenshot of this morning, or Luke 12:10. I had a screenshot of this morning, but I'm just going to summarize it. Basically, God sends out 70 people and they come back and they're like, basically like just to do the work of God, to heal, to whatever. They come back to him and they're like, God, like even, or they come back to Jesus and they're like, Jesus, even the scorpions and the serpents have to bow down to us, basically. Like they have to fall at the feet of Jesus. And his response is, I just have to pull it up because it's actually so beautiful. And I've never read this before. If I have, I wasn't like really paying attention to the words, but the 72 people, excuse me. The 72 returned with joy, saying, Lord, even the demons are subject to us in your name. And another version, the version that I read in my Bible, which this is ESV, but I think my Bible is NIV or something. It says, the serpents and the scorpions are subject to us in your name. And he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions. Actually, that's where the serpents and scorpions came from. Let me start over. I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. Behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all of the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you. Nevertheless, do not rejoice in this, that the spirits are subject to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven. And I feel like that is like the perfect, first of all, it's so Jesus of him to respond like that. And it's, if you like hear how Jesus spoke and you see how he speaks to you, that is like such a Jesus response. But it's like, oh yeah, like you do have power over the enemy, and I have given you the power to stomp over the scorpions and serpents, and I've given you authority in my name, basically. But don't rejoice in that. Basically, don't rejoice in the authority I've given, or even like the power that you have in me. Rejoice that your names are written in heaven and that you know me for yourself, and that I came to save you. And at least that's how I interpreted it. Maybe I should go and do like my own research, but that's how I took that and read that. And I feel like that was like such a beautiful reminder for me, because I think a lot of times I can get very caught up in what Jesus can do for me and the authority I have and going out and doing things in his name or whatever it is, and forget that like my rejoicing comes from the fact that my name is written in heaven and that I have my own relationship with him. And that's the beauty. And that's like what should make me rejoice, and not like what he can do for me and my dreams coming true and me. So yeah, that was just a good reminder for me. And I think you don't need like a renewal weekend like we had this weekend to have moments of reflection. Like I would encourage you guys to maybe take a weekend off your phone, maybe take a weekend and go drive to the mountains and like plan a trip by yourself. I don't know, maybe ask God what he would want you to do to just like take time and just be with him. Cause I think that that's like our biggest curse right now, is that we could be spending our time doing a lot of things, and it takes time to like really get to know God. And I feel like he's just waiting on us to give it to him. And the beauty of him is that he is never going to force his love on you. He's never going to force you to do anything. And it's all a choice, which is the beauty of love and the beauty of him, that he's never going to force himself on you. But also it's like you have the opportunity to have like intimacy with him and get to know him for yourself. So yeah, that's what I learned this weekend. And I would always encourage you guys to make time and make room for him. I also just realized that I never even told you guys what my theme for decorating for Christmas is. Also, the way that I just like bounce back and forth between things, like I hope y'all can keep up. Anyway, I this year want to bring back a little bit more vintage vibes, because I feel like last year my tree was neutral, which, you know, is all great and fine and dandy, but this year I really needed some oomph. So I got some like wooden ornaments that I'm putting in there that I think will be fun. Sorry, I'm like daydreaming about this because I'm also about to get my nails done and I don't know what I want to do. I think my producer's laughing because I just went all over the place again. I don't know what I want to do. I had These Are the Days from when we launched, which feels like so long ago, the fact that it's still on, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to go full Christmas mode yet since we still have Thanksgiving. But anyway, I want to do a Mackenzie's Mindset to cap off the last episode of the year. It only makes sense. Guys, I'm really going to miss this. Like, I am excited. I'm not going to lie. I am excited to have a break because I haven't gone consecutive weeks without a break, which it's not like this is like super hard work to talk for 40 minutes, but it's a lot of thought. And also just when you don't take a break from things, it's just kind of hard to get a refresh. So I'm excited for that, but I am going to miss you guys. I'm going to miss doing Mackenzie's Mindsets, and you guys can still send them in. Don't worry. My DMs are always open, and I can write them down to do because Mackenzie's Mindset can't go anywhere. That segment will stay. But if you're new here, Mackenzie's Mindset is a segment that we do at the end of every episode where you guys give me your questions, thoughts, scenarios, and I guess give you my mindset on them, aka my opinion. So tread lightly. But here is the first Mackenzie's Mindset of today. Would love your take on weddings and anxiety as the bride. Getting married in June, just with anxiety around the whole day, my own emotions, etc. Not my fiance, etc. I said etc. Also, me being a content creator, I obviously hear my voice every day and like have to edit it. And the way that I just blur my words together sometimes is unreal. Anyway, I would say I also had anxiety around my wedding day, but it was a mix of like excitement. And then also I talked to you guys about like some of my relationship anxiety, but I didn't have anything to do with Darian necessarily. It was just more so like, how is life going to look after I get married? And like, I planned for this day for almost a year. And I think it was like 8 months actually, but I just planned for so long. I've dreamed of this my whole life, and then it's going to be over. And then what if this happens? What if this happens? I would say control the controllables, which is always my advice. And then as far as like what could help your anxiety, I would say definitely hire a wedding planner. That was the best thing I ever did. Shout out to Sarah Events, Miss Tori. We're still good friends. Love her. And she helped so much with just knowing I could put my trust in somebody that was going to make sure that like my timeline was what it needed to be and remind me of, oh, it's time to change, or, oh, it's time to do this. You have to have a wedding planner. You have to. It's worth the investment. And that's my number one advice, I would say, for weddings. But as far as anxiety goes, I think just like releasing the day and just knowing that it's going to go the way it needs to go, and that you can plan as much as you want, but there's also just some things that are going to come up. And I think just also being like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's about like this union and this covenant that I'm making with this person that I love so much and that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life. And that's the focus of the day. It's not like having a perfect day, but also like you get to celebrate with your friends and family, and that's like so fun and beautiful. And that's what should be the focus. So yeah, I would just say release it. And that's really all you can do. Control the controllables, let the rest go. Next, Mackenzie's Mindset. How did you get into clean eating and learning about ingredients and food? I've just never really talked about this. So I figured, you know what? Why not now? Now or never. Now or 2026. I never grew up eating healthy. My mom just was not educated on eating healthy. I had hot dogs and mac and cheese and Pop-Tarts and a cinnamon bun like every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So, and you know what? She was doing her best, and she thought, you know, a fed kid is all that matters. I just did not have a great relationship with food growing up because I just did not understand nutrients. But what got me into it and learning about it was I did Whole30 my senior year of high school, and it just made me more aware of what I was eating and made me focus more on the ingredients and things, because Whole30 is like, I need another cup of coffee. My next cup of coffee is going to be a peppermint mocha. Anyway, I focus on ingredients. It's like you can have meats, you can have nuts, you can have legumes. No, you can't have legumes. You know what? I forget. Let me ask Siri. What are the Whole30 rules? It's focusing. I know the whole reason is Whole30, aka like Whole Foods. But you eliminate sugar, you eliminate alcohol, grains, dairy, legumes for 30 days, along with any processed foods and junk foods. So like no like baked goods, treats, pancakes, even with compatible ingredients, which I don't think I followed that. I think I made healthy pancakes, like, because that's stupid. Can't have dairy, you can't have, it's just basically protein, which is like just meat, vegetables, fruits, fats, like avocado, nuts, seeds, natural oils, and then like just natural ingredients. And so it made me realize all of the stuff that I was eating that was like quote unquote healthy, like protein bars or whatever, that actually just had like 4 different forms of sugar in them, and just made me more aware. But also I would say it definitely did not help my relationship with food, as like I was thinking way too much about what I was eating. Like I don't think it's healthy to think about food that much. Like I think food is there to like nourish your body, but it's not there to like obsess over. And I feel like it did make me a little obsessive over it, because even afterwards I was like, oh my God, I like, this is dairy and this is this and this is that. And it made me think way too much about it. It's like, girl, it's sincerely not that deep. But it did help me learn ingredients. And also I think with my kids, it's made me think even more of like, how is this going to process in their body? Because it's like, when I definitely let Beckham have like marshmallows and cookies and, you know, candy and whatever. It's just like not as much as I was allowed as a kid. And it's because it affects their brain, their behavior, and how they like, it processes like really badly in their body, their little bodies. So I just don't let them have too much. But I also don't believe in like restriction to where, again, I just don't think it's even necessary to think about food that much. It's like, it's there to nourish your body. If you want to have a lollipop, have a lollipop. But yeah, that's how I originally learned about it. And I will say, I don't think I'll ever do Whole30 again, because I don't think there's anything wrong with like a pancake with a little bit of whatever, sugar on it. Like, let it go. It's not that deep. But I do think there is times to, I just have to live a healthy lifestyle. I don't need to like cut out sugar or cut out dairy or whatever. It's like, just live a healthy lifestyle, you know? So yeah, that's how I learned. But that wraps up the 2025 season 1 of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast, you guys. I cannot believe it has been a year of this. I cannot believe that we're even going to have a season 2. I didn't even think that we were going to do seasons, but it makes way more sense this way. I think my seasons will be a little shorter next year. We'll probably do a break in the middle, because I do realize I get a little burnt out if I don't take breaks. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys feel that from me. And I know I say this every week, but like every listen, every comment, every DM, I do read your DMs, and they mean so much to me, and just like sweet words. And the fact that you guys even take time to like listen or say anything about it is so sweet, and just very appreciative, and love you guys. And I will see you guys in just a few weeks in January, which is crazy. I hope you guys make the most of the rest of your year, and that it is the best end of your year. I'm really thinking about you guys, and I cannot wait to see you guys in January for a new season of Not Everybody Needs a Podcast. Signing off, Mackenzie Renscher. Goodbye.